Big Rescue 42 says, I'm at 38% body fat with a 50-inch waist and I can't seem to lose it. First off, I want to apologize because I've been really slacking on making videos and replying to people as they comment. Been super busy. I've had a lot going on. But I'm going to get to this comment because, I mean, I've been there. I don't know necessarily that I had a 50-inch waist, but I do know that I was at like 36% body fat. It took me a long time to even get down to where I'm at. I'm still, still trying to tear shit off, but I've made a hell of a lot of progress. The video that you had originally commented on, I was still pretty heavy, and that video was primarily about how you can experience some gut distension when you have an abdomen full of feces. These things happen. But there was a person that commented on your comment talking about eating fish and eggs and vegetables and all that good stuff. And they're right for the most part. There is no cookie cutter diet that is simply going to work for everybody. Personally, what I've been doing is I've just been trying to get a minimum of 200 grams of protein a day. I get at least 10 to 15,000 steps in a day. I do a little bit of strength training every day, and I've just been trying my damnedest to stick to it, stay disciplined. Self-accountability is huge. Lots of people, they're like, oh, I did really good today. I can have 4 pieces of pizza or whatever. And, every now and then something like that's fine. But when you start seeing that as being the acceptable method, then you're going to end up suffering for it in the long run. What I've been doing is most of my micronutrients I've been getting through vitamin supplementation throughout the week, and then on weekends I'll eat a bunch of fruits and vegetables. But during the week, for the most part, because I have a fairly labor-intensive job now, as well as going to the gym whenever I can, I have been having around 7.5 ounces of chicken in 2.5 ounces of beef bone broth with a little bit of sodium-free Greek seasoning, and then I make 2 over-easy eggs, and I'll mix that in with it. You're getting somewhere between 50 and 70 grams of protein per dish, and then I'll go ahead and I'll do that 3 times throughout the day. Have a protein shake or something before I leave for work, eat that 2 times throughout the day, eat it again for dinner, then have another protein shake before I go to bed. It keeps my calorie count really low. I spend all day burning through excess calories. I'm pretty much staying completely away from carbohydrates right now, just to try to get the rest of this body fat torn off. As you can see, before I was much, much, much thicker through the midsection, and I've definitely come a long ways to trim all that off. Still have plenty to trim off. I'm in no delusions about where I am at physically, but it's really just about consistency. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be a fast process. Are there ways to eliminate inches if you are impacted with poop in your abdomen? Like, sure, clean yourself out. Obviously, you drop 20 pounds of poop out of your abdomen, you're going to see some shrinkage in your waistline. But what it really boils down to is every day, you just got to ask yourself how bad you want it. You pick up something, it's not right for your diet. That it's going to be counterproductive to your goals. And you have to make the conscious decision as to whether or not you are going to eat that. Myself, I really, 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 really just want to get shredded down really hard. And then I would like to try to put on as much lean mass as I can. I'm going to try to push myself down between 6 and 8% body fat. It's going to be really difficult. I have no idea if I'm even going to complete it because there's a psychological aspect to all this. I'm trying to maintain muscle mass. So while I'm tearing myself down to that low of a body fat, I'm going to be losing muscle as well. And at some point, it's going to start to bother me that I'm losing so much muscle mass. And then eventually I'll end up reverting back into a more of a recomposition rather than a cut. And for that recomposition, I'll simply just add carbohydrates back to all my meals. You know, my diet's not going to change a whole bunch. I will just start throwing rice back into every meal, you know, to give my muscles that water and glycogen content that they need to stay fluffed up, and, you know, pick my calories up just a little bit. I'll probably end up doing more cardio so that the weight that I put back on will consist of less fat. But to answer your question specifically, I guess you didn't really ask a question. The fact that you're looking for resources, that you're looking for information, this all means that you want to lose it. You know, there's going to be a million people on TikTok telling you to do a million different things. Each person that you listen to may have breadcrumbs of really good information. But what it's really going to boil down to is calories in versus calories out. Are you burning more calories than you're taking in? Which is important. You know, are you getting enough protein in your diet? Are you covering all of your macro and micronutrients regardless of how you get them? You know, macronutrients are going to have more to do with what your body is shaped like, as to where the micronutrients are going to determine more about how you feel throughout the day. Each are very important. If you feel like shit, you're probably not going to get the physical activity in that you need to burn body fat. But it's all about consistency. It's all about desire. It's all about self-accountability. If you can make a plan, see results, stick with that plan, you will watch yourself inch towards your goal over time. I, myself, have been working towards it for a really fucking long time, and I am happy with where I am compared to where I began. Will I ever truly be happy with where I'm at? Probably not. You know, that's the cool thing about fitness. You never actually reach your goals. About the time you get to your goal has already changed. So the bar just keeps going up, and it's a constant thing that you're going to be working for as long as you decide that fitness is something that you're going to pursue. And to be honest, I think that it's a worthwhile existence. I think that it's fulfilling. I think that it gives you a constant sense of accomplishment in a world where things are hard enough to feel accomplished as is. And I encourage it. So I hope that anything that I've said here has helped you. I apologize for taking so long to get back to you. I will definitely try to be better about things like this in the future. But you have a great day. We'll talk.